If you're broke, tired, and stuck, this video will either wake you up or get ignored like everything else in your life. But if you give me 60 seconds, I'll prove that your mind is already rich. You just haven't turned it on yet. What if the secret to wealth, power, and unstoppable success was never locked in a bank account, but in your mind? For decades, the world's most successful people have lived by one unshakable truth. You become what you think about most. This isn't fantasy. This is the mental blueprint for domination. If you're ready to rewire your thinking, shatter your limitations, and finally claim the life you were built for, then stop scrolling. This is the video that can change everything. 1. Wealth begins in the mind. Train it like a warrior. Everything you want, more freedom, more wealth, more life, starts with one thing: the way you think. Not your circumstances, not your resources, your mindset. Wealth doesn't begin in your bank account. It begins in the battlefield of your thoughts. If you're not training your mind every single day, the world will do it for you. And the world is not programmed for your success. Your thoughts are either building your future or breaking it. They're either planting seeds of possibility or reinforcing chains of limitation. That's why you must discipline your mind like a warrior. Feed it strength. Flood it with certainty. If you want to rise, you have to recondition your thinking to reflect where you're going, not where you've been. The problem isn't lack of opportunity, it's lack of belief. People don't get what they want because they never truly believe they deserve it. And if you don't believe it, you'll sabotage it. You'll play small. You'll hesitate. But when you train your mind to expect success, to demand greatness, you act like a different person. You move with power. You move with purpose. Wealthy people think differently because they've trained themselves to. They don't react to life. They create it. They don't focus on what they're missing. They focus on what's possible. They've mastered the inner game. That's why success keeps chasing them. Because wealth doesn't come to the desperate. It comes to the certain. You have to kill the story that says, "I'm not enough." You have to shatter the lie that says, "I'm not ready." You are ready, right now. But readiness doesn't come from your environment. It comes from intensity of decision. And when you train your mind to lock in on a vision, when you refuse to entertain any thought that contradicts your outcome, that's when momentum explodes. Don't just think positive. Think powerfully. Think like a warrior, not a worrier. Rewire your focus. Cut the noise. Get obsessed with your mission. That's how you move from wishful thinking to strategic execution. That's how you start commanding the life you were meant to live. This isn't theory. It's practice. It's repetition. Every single morning, you must condition your mind the way champions condition their bodies. Mental training is not optional. It's survival. Because in the war for your future, the mind that's prepared is the mind that wins. 2. Burn the boats. Leave no room for retreat. Success doesn't come to those with a backup plan. It comes to those who burn the boats. If you give yourself a way out, you'll take it the moment things get hard. That's human nature. But when you cut off the escape routes, when you commit so deeply that retreat is no longer an option, something inside you changes. You stop hoping, and you decide. There's a fire that only ignites when the only direction is forward. When there's no plan B, plan A suddenly becomes non-negotiable. That kind of decision has power. That kind of decision eliminates fear. Because fear thrives in hesitation. It multiplies when you give yourself time to doubt. But when you eliminate the option of failure, you eliminate the power of fear. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. It whispers lies, it offers soft landings, and it keeps people stuck in average. You were not built for average. You were built to push limits, to test yourself, to grow through pressure. Burning the boats means you're no longer interested in the illusion of safety. You're all in on your destiny. When you commit fully, your brain shifts into a different gear. Your nervous system aligns. You tap into creativity, resourcefulness, and hunger you didn't even know you had. Because now it's survival. Now it's domination. You'll work harder, think faster, and fight longer because the only alternative is to win. People fail not because they lack ability, but because they never truly commit. They dip their toes in the water instead of diving headfirst into the deep. But if you want to live an extraordinary life, you have to go all in. No exit, no escape, no excuses. That's the energy that builds empires. Every great transformation starts with a moment of no return. A line in the sand, a bold declaration. This is who I am now. This is what I demand of myself. You don't need guarantees. You don't need comfort. You need certainty. And certainty is built when you cut off all the other paths and own your choice. Don't just want success. Trap yourself into it. Build the pressure. Remove the fallback. Because when the only way out is through, you rise. You evolve. You dominate. Burn the boats. And watch how fast you become the person who no longer needs one. 3. Clarity is power. Know exactly what you want. Clarity is not a luxury. It's a requirement. If you don't know exactly what you want, you'll never summon the energy, the hunger, the strategy to go after it. You'll drift. You'll react. You'll chase shiny objects and wonder why nothing sticks. The mind needs a clear target. Without it, you're throwing darts in the dark and calling it ambition. Most people don't fail because they lack drive. They fail because they lack direction. You can have the best mindset, the strongest work ethic, but if you don't know where you're headed, you're running in circles. Clarity cuts through the noise. It gives you focus, and focus gives you power. When you know what you want with absolute certainty, the world bends to that clarity. You start noticing opportunities. You start attracting the right people. You start rejecting distractions without guilt. Because you're no longer trying to do everything. You're laser-locked on your mission. Vagueness is the enemy of progress. Don't just say you want success. What kind of success? In what area? How does it feel? What does it look like? The more specific you are, the more your brain turns that desire into a blueprint. And when the blueprint is clear, execution becomes inevitable. Clarity isn't just about goals. It's about identity. Who are you becoming? What standards do you now live by? What behaviors no longer belong to you? When you're clear on your identity, decisions get simple. You stop negotiating with your old self. You start living from your future self. People waste years trying to figure out the how because they never got clear on the what. Don't reverse the process. Decide exactly what you want. Own it. Claim it. When you're bold about your vision, the path begins to appear. The how reveals itself to the committed. Get clear. Write it down. Feel it. Speak it every morning. Your clarity is the foundation of your power. Without it, you wander. With it, you dominate. When you know where you're going, and you move with conviction, the world makes room for you. Because clarity is magnetic. Clarity creates momentum. Clarity builds empires. 4. Emotion fuels wealth. Get into state before you execute. Before strategy, before execution, before any move you make toward success. There's one thing that must come first: your state. How you feel in the moment you act determines the force, the intensity, the conviction behind every move. You don't execute at the highest level from a place of stress, fear, or uncertainty. You execute from power, and power is emotional. Most people think wealth is about tactics. It's not. It's about energy. Emotion is what drives decisions. Emotion is what drives consistency. If you don't prime your emotional state, you're leaving your wealth-building capacity to chance. And chance is not a strategy. You can have the best plan in the world, but if you show up tired, frustrated, or afraid, you won't execute. You'll hesitate. You'll shrink. You'll talk yourself out of bold moves. But when you step into a state of certainty, confidence, passion, your body follows, your mind sharpens, and your results explode. Your emotional state is your performance trigger. Get into the right state, and you don't need motivation. You become motivation. You move faster, speak clearer, decide quicker. You trust your instincts because you've aligned your physiology and psychology. And when those two are aligned, you become unstoppable. It's not about being fake or hyped. It's about tapping into your most resourceful self. That version of you that already knows how to win. The one who doesn't second guess. The one who shows up with certainty because they've trained that state like a muscle. And just like a muscle, your state gets stronger the more you activate it. You don't wait for a good mood. You create it. You train it. Through movement, through language, through breath. Get in your body. Use your voice. Shift your focus. You don't need more time. You need more energy. Because wealth doesn't flow to the passive. It flows to those who move with fire. Start every day by getting into state. Before the emails, before the phone calls, before the meetings. Prime your mind and your body to perform. Because how you feel determines how you show up. And how you show up determines what you build. Emotion is not a weakness. It's your weapon. Use it. 5. Take massive, imperfect action. The enemy of success is not failure. It's hesitation. Too many people are waiting for the perfect plan, the perfect moment, the perfect conditions. But success doesn't reward the perfect. It rewards the bold, the ones who move, the ones who are willing to take massive, imperfect action and course correct along the way. Perfection is a lie. It's a stall tactic. It keeps you stuck in your head while the world moves forward without you. Real progress comes from momentum, not mastery. You don't need all the answers to begin. You just need enough courage to start. Action breeds clarity. Action builds confidence. Every breakthrough you're chasing lives on the other side of movement. Thinking about it won't get you there. Planning alone won't get you there. The only thing that shifts your life is doing. And when you take big, messy, unapologetic action, the universe responds. Doors open. Energy surges. People notice. You don't need to get it right. You just need to get it going. You'll learn faster by failing forward than by sitting on the sidelines trying to perfect the playbook. Experience is the best teacher, and experience only comes when you're in the game. Get your hands dirty. Make mistakes. Then grow. You're not rewarded for what you intend to do. You're rewarded for what you actually do. The difference between dreamers and achievers is that achievers move. They act when it's uncomfortable. They make decisions when it's risky. They trust themselves to figure it out on the fly. And they do. When you train yourself to take action despite fear, despite doubt, despite uncertainty, you become unstoppable. Because now you're not waiting for confidence. You're building it. With every step, every rep, every result, you become more powerful. You become someone who follows through. Someone who finishes. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for perfect. Move now. Build the momentum that makes the impossible feel inevitable. Because when you take massive, imperfect action, you stop being a spectator and start becoming the architect of your own life. If this message hits you deep, hit subscribe right now. This channel is your daily fuel for success, mindset mastery, and financial freedom. Turn on notifications, and let's build the life most people only dream about. Your next level starts here.